What is up, everyone? It's Dan, back here for another video. And in today's video, it's going to be a little bit different than most videos. So typically on this channel, I post like my thoughts, my opinions, and how to do things. And recently I realized, 2 years ago when I was 19 years old, I created a video about who I am. And that video, it didn't do too bad. It just gave my thoughts and my life story up until that moment. And I thought to myself, well, it's been 2 years. I'm 21 years old right now. I might as well make a part 2 to that video. Kind of explain where I've been in life recently, the current position I'm in, what I'm doing, and what I hope to do in the future. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Daniel Makarov. I'm basically like a tech entrepreneur who tries to make companies, has scaled a few companies in the past, and right now is trying to build up and deploy another startup company that I hope is going to make me a billionaire. And I kind of wanted to give you guys a quick, just maybe here, honestly, I might be posting more of these, just life updates and business updates regarding exactly where I'm at, just to kind of, I don't know, if people watch this, maybe I'm going to get 10 views on this. So I don't really expect much from it. I just think it would be maybe a cool side project to kind of just record my thoughts, what I'm thinking of, where I'm at. And, maybe some of you guys are going to learn from me. Maybe you'll see some value in this content, or maybe you'll just tag along and watch my life unfold basically on YouTube. So where have I been basically? So let's roll it back about a year. So a year ago in January 2025, more than a year ago actually, a year and a half ago at this point, I started a company called Vocalinks. I started this company at the middle of my third year of university, to which I finished my university degree in 3 years. I studied computer science and economics at the University of Toronto, and I'm fully done with that now, 100%. And I started this company called Vocalinks. So Vocalinks, what I did was I basically translated videos for content creators, and I managed their international, different language channels. So if they created a new English video, I would go download the video, translate it, and upload it for them. And that business did decently well. In the past year, I made about $70,000 from it, Canadian, by the way. And it was an okay business. It was very fun. I learned a lot about how influencers work, and I learned a lot about business, about how to get clients, what to do, and how to upsell clients, how to churn clients. And it was a really fun business. I had a great time. And so recently, basically what's been happening, I started that business back in January, and over the summer, that's where I finished my courses. I actually moved downtown because I was invited by one of my really good friends invited me to move downtown, and because their roommate left, and I already knew both of them. It was two of them. They might be watching this video, so hey guys. And they let me live with them. And that was awesome because this was my first time living alone for a very long period of my time, which was 3 months. And I had such a blast. I was working on business. I still had school, which I was working on too. And oh my God, living in downtown Toronto, near King Street, was so fun. We had so many great nights. I went out, going out partying on the clubs, to the pubs, talking to girls. It was really fun. It was really fun while it lasted at the time, because back then my business was doing really good, and I had such a great time with friends. I met a lot of great people. I built so many good connections, and I'll say this: if you're a commuter, right? Because I've lived with my parents while going to to my university for the majority of my life. The second I got that hit of I could do whatever I want, I don't have to commute so far. I can just go to class, come back to my place in 10 minutes, and then do whatever I want. It was awesome. It was life was really good. It was really fun. It was really fun. Now, I worked, my business was doing really good because the deals that were coming in were really big, purely out of luck, basically. And it was awesome. I was scaling. And then basically what happened was towards August, which is when I was finishing up my degree because I finished my courses in August, my business started to take a turn. I unfortunately got hit by a wave of basically like a couple of my clients started leaving me, unfortunately, all at the same time. And so I started sitting and I started thinking, okay, crap, like my income just got hit a ton. Like, this like living alone and stuff and going out partying is fun, but at the end of the day, what's most important is that I grow my company. So I'm like, okay, you know what, I still have like quite a bit of savings. Instead of like paying rent and having like a ton of fun, I should probably actually move back home, honestly, just lock myself in my room and keep scaling the company to make sure it survives. And I did that. And yeah, so that was August. I moved back into my parents' place in September and I started working on it. And it wasn't doing too bad. I managed to actually save the company and grow my income to back over $5,000 a month, which isn't like as high as like my previous income, what it was, but it was like much more than like the month that I got hit. I think in September I barely made any money. I think it was like, I don't know, like 2 to 3K I made. It was very little compared to the previous months. I think 1 month I actually made like 14K, which was pretty like dope for like a 20-year-old. And yeah, I was 20 years old at the time. Right now I'm 21 as of recording this video. And so that happened. And in September I met a girl through Hinge, and we started chilling, we started talking. And while I was still like living with my parents, basically just like scaling my company, which wasn't doing too bad, I also spent quite a bit of time like still going out with friends, having a good time, like way more locked in than before, but still enjoying my time and just chilling, kind of like just working on my company, chilling and going out with friends. But the thing is, I realized to myself, I wasn't like moving at the rates I wanted to be. Like, sure, I was making $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a month, which wasn't terrible because my costs were low. I didn't have any overhead. I lived with my parents. That was all like fine and dandy. The thing is, I wasn't growing at the rate I wanted to. So one day in December, right, I was talking to my friends and I realized, oh shoot, everybody is going somewhere for the Christmas break, with their friends or with their family. Everyone's just traveling everywhere. And so I was sitting, and I've wanted to go to San Francisco up until this point for a while already. And I was like, shoot, like I actually wanted to go back to San Francisco back in September. I called up one of my homies, and at the time he didn't want to go because like he wanted to go, but he wanted to bring his other friend too, which I was fine with. We're all great friends and they're all really cool people. So we just basically postponed the trip a little bit, and we were like, okay, I'm like, in December, I was like, okay, look, everybody's traveling somewhere right now. Like, before I get to a point, but like, there's one thing I was about to say, but I'm going to say it in 1 second. But I'm like, okay, everyone's traveling. Screw it. Let's just go to San Francisco. So I call up one of my boys. I'm like, listen, bro, like, I'm going to go to San Francisco, bro. Like, pop out with me. Let's go. We'll have a great time. It'll be fantastic. And what I was hoping out of this trip was, look, San Francisco, it's the city where there's a bunch of entrepreneurs. Me and him have been doing entrepreneurship for a while now. And it's a great city. It's a beautiful city. And I think that by going there, maybe we could connect with the communities. I know like the Y Combinator office. I know where Founders Inc. is at, which is startup accelerators / incubators. I'm like, listen, we're going to go. We're going to have a great time. We get to explore the city. I'm sure it's really beautiful. We get to frolic around the really cool tech, like those Waymos. And we're probably going to meet a bunch of entrepreneurs. And so he was like, sure, screw it, let's do it. So literally the same day, we booked our tickets. I think we actually booked it within like the same hour, which is pretty cool. I've never done that before. So we booked our tickets. And basically what happened to me was, this was like, I think this was mid-December when I booked the tickets for early January. I think I left to San Francisco January 7th. Something like that, I'm pretty sure. And basically, in December, I was chilling, right? I'm like, okay, I'm going to San Francisco. My clients were still paying me money. And suddenly, a really big shift happened in my life. So I was chilling, right? And I actually got sick during the holidays. This was like, at this moment in the story, it's late December. And I get sick with influenza. And I'm just sitting. I think it was influenza. I don't know. I was just really sick. And I'm sitting. And suddenly, one of my like major clients just drops a bombshell saying, yo, like, you're not going to lie, like, we got to like stop this. And this was crazy because this was a major client. And I had another client actually also like I was in talks with who wasn't as big, also just ghost me. And I had another guy that I was in talks with to try and like get a deal with him that also just ghosted me. So my income quite literally overnight, not overnight, but over the span of a few days, quite literally just evaporated. And I was a sitting duck. And to make things like even better, my main girl, like my girlfriend, she dipped also. She left me. Massive argument. And she just said, yo, I'm going to leave you. And she left. I didn't cry about it. I wasn't too sad. Like, I wasn't happy about it, but I was like, I'm not going to like beg her to stay. So I was like, okay, fine, leave. That's not a problem. So that happened. And this all happened in the span of, I think, like 3 or 4 days. So this is like late December by this moment. And I'm sitting and I'm thinking like, okay, my girl just left me. My business just went completely under. I still have savings and I'm going to San Francisco. And she actually broke it off with me the day before I went to San Francisco. Like, we started a big argument. I'm not going to talk about it in depth, but we had a very big argument late December. And then literally the day before San Francisco, she's like, okay, yeah, that's it. Done. So I was like, okay, fine. So I go to San Francisco with my friend. And I'm not going to lie, it was a great trip. It was truly an awesome trip. Like, I think if you're an entrepreneur, and you want to scale a company, you have to go to San Francisco. Go to San Francisco, spend 4 or 5 days there, right? Travel everywhere. Go to every like cafe in the morning. Like, this is what me and my friend did. We explored the whole city in about 3 days. We went to, like, we would just go walk around, ChatGPT where to go to, check out different places. We'd use Waymos, which are awesome. Those self-driving cars, they were sick. Like, I recommend anyone who's going to San Francisco, like, get on those Waymos. Like, they're awesome. And another great thing about the city is they have these scooters that you could just hop on, hop off, these Lime scooters. And California, I've never been to California. I've been to Florida. I've been all across the East Coast, but I've never been West Coast. And California is actually so beautiful. Like, you've got one part, which is San Francisco, which is, like, it's so cool because, like, I don't know, like, it's such a different vibe to, like, the East Coast. It's like the houses are different, the people are different. And, like, obviously we still got to talk to a lot of founders, which we learned one thing is a lot of founders, they'll either like be at some of those cafes, but the truth is a lot of those founders are just grinding in their basements, trying to scale their companies. So we didn't get to talk to as many founders as we would have liked to. However, we still talked to like some investors around the main financial district. And we also went to Y Combinator and Founders Inc. And like right outside, there would be founders coming in and out. And we would just go up, talk to them. And it was really cool. Like, we actually got a lot of information, which helped us like with our companies. And well, like, my company was dying at the time, so I was in the middle of a pivot, but it was really awesome. It was really fun. And we also went to the Yosemite National Park, which we rented a car, popped out. It was beautiful. I'm not going to lie. California is so beautiful. Beautiful mountains. We came to Yosemite actually thinking it was $35 per person, but that's $35 for residents of the US. If you're non-residents, actually $135. So we were like, oh, damn. But we drove already a few hours and, we had spent already a lot of time on the rental. So we were like, okay, screw it. Let's do it. And I'm happy we did because Yosemite was beautiful. Driving through the mountains, really cool. Really recommend it to anyone who likes nature. It's beautiful. And so while we were doing like the touristy things and talking to people, one thing that in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, crap, okay, what do I do? What's like actually my next steps? Because a lot of clients just left me. Instagram is coming out with their like translating like automatic dubbing tool. What is my next step? Because obviously this company is, even if I find a few more clients, sure, it'll survive for a little bit of time, but eventually, like, I don't know how this technology landscape is going to change, but I feel like there's going to, like, YouTube is probably going to, like, maybe come out with their own translating thing. The reason why Instagram has it is because Instagram has their short form translating tool and YouTube has their own. However, the thing is YouTube's translating tool is like really crappy. It's really bad. It's really robotic. So I think YouTube honestly is going to release like a better version, maybe like 3 years time, just because right now when Instagram translates videos, it's really fast for them to render it, like lip sync, because it's short 60-second videos. And that's not even for all videos. That's only for videos where the face is like speaking directly to the camera. For long form videos, obviously it's going to take a lot more computation. That's why I think YouTube is going to like spend a lot more time because they have like trillions of videos at this point. So imagine translating all of those videos into like Spanish, Chinese. It's just simply not computationally efficient. You know, it's not going to happen overnight. So it's going to take some time, but eventually it's going to happen. So I'm sitting and I'm thinking, okay, well, what the hell do I do now? And I think, and I think, and I think, and I thought about it throughout this whole like trip, like what's my next step? And during the trip, one of my friend that I was with, he recommended me watch this guy who basically teaches people how to do AI automation, which is basically going to a business and offering them AI services to help their business more efficient. And I thought of that, and that wasn't a terrible idea, but I thought that like I didn't really have too much of, I didn't know which exact service to like go into. Like some people said like, oh, do lead gen, right? And I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool, but like this isn't going to make me a billionaire at the end of the day. But at the same time, I don't have too much money, so I can't be too picky with what exactly I do. So I'm thinking, what the hell do I do? So I come home and I start doing a bunch of research. And suddenly I come across these AI influencers, which the concept of was really cool. So basically you would use a site like Higgsfield and you would go and you would generate these virtual influencers and because their models were ran by Google's Nano Banana Pro, right? They looked really realistic. And I heard of a few AI influencers who were starting to pop off, but basically just selling, like, they would generate an image of someone, right? Like a pretty girl or a pretty boy, or someone like really good looking. And they would also generate an image of someone like really not good looking. And then they would do this before and after. If they made it look really realistic. They'd throw it into a model like K-Ling, which is also available on Higgsfield, to actually grab that like realistic image generation and turn it into a video. And they would create TikTok clips that would go viral. And then they would sell some sort of like very cheap PDF about it. And so I was like, damn, that's like sick, not gonna lie. So me and my friend, right, I originally started doing this, creating some influencers, and I was like, okay, like this isn't bad. You know, I'm getting some views, but it's definitely not enough. So I'm sitting and I'm thinking, okay, like even if I sit and generate for like a few influencers here and there, right, I'm basically growing an influencers channel from the beginning, which is quite time consuming. And I quickly realized that those TikTok accounts that were pushing out those e-com products, they were most likely boosting their posts quite a bit because organically, and I know this now because I've been doing this for like some time now already, like whenever you create an organic account, it's quite hard to go viral. You really have to have really high quality content and output a lot of videos because you simply don't know what you're going to do. So then I was sitting and for a while, honestly, like almost the past like month, you know, it's already March, for a while, for a month and a half at this point, I was like, basically like, I played around with these influencers. I realized, hey, it's going to take a while for me to grow them. What if I like just come up to businesses and offer them this as like some sort of solution? As in like, I come up to them, I'm like, hey, I could create these really realistic AI influencers Would you like to buy it? It'd be pretty cool. Like, you could basically control your own virtual influencer. You can make them say anything you want. They'll promote your product. You'll get at least a few hundred views every single video that could convert to sales. And I've had a lot of like call client meetings. And the thing is, what I realize is this service that I was trying to offer is more of a cool to have, like a nice to have, rather than a pain point. I had calls because people are genuinely interested in this concept of how it could help their company. But people at the same time, they weren't like pressured to use it because it's so new that not a lot of people are doing it. And truly only on Twitter, people know about these AI influencers creating these videos to like promote their products / apps. So what I was thinking, I'm like, okay, like while I'm doing this, let me think of like something else to do. And so after some time of thought, right, after talking to a lot of my friends and thinking, what should we do? And like, what exactly is the next steps? I was like, okay, like what if like, a lot of people nowadays are creating these like apps and stuff. And I used to do a lot of research regarding like how to scale apps. But I never launched any just because I had my original Vocal Links company. So after like a lot of like ideation and thinking, like what should I actually build? What would be the next move? I'm doing some market research, right? And I realize there's a lot of apps out there that are making like stupid amounts of money. For example, there's this like rock scanner app where you could like scan a rock. I'm not even kidding. And basically they're making $400,000 a month off of that USD. So I'm like, damn, that's cool. It's like, that's so sick. Like if they could do that, I could do that. So I was doing some research and I came across this idea of like, okay, well, a lot of people, myself, for example, in the past, everyone eventually goes through heartbreak, right? So like, what if like you make an app that somehow like helps people like get over heartbreak? And so after doing quite a bit of research, I realized, there's like no apps out there like that, really. Like there are a few no contact apps that are like basically charging people a monthly subscription to do a timer. But I'm like, well, I got over the girl like pretty quickly. So what if I just built some like app which has like a no contact timer, has a chat bot, has programs, lessons, a bunch of information. It has a meditation feature. It has like basically like different programs that you could read through and basically realize, okay, you gotta like move on from them and how to move on from them, and daily exercises and check-ins and progress things. And I thought of this and I'm like, okay, so I call up one of my homies. I'm like, yo, like, what do you think of this idea? And he said, yes, let's do it. It's an awesome idea. So for the past like basically 2 weeks, we're sitting, developing out this product, trying our best at it. And the first week we code everything out really quick. We launch it. It took about a week to do it. Like honestly, it took like 2 days to code it out, but it took like a week to launch it just because I kept running into payment and paywall issues with Apple. But we eventually get it out and we're sitting and we're doing distribution now. Now, I'm not going to go into the exact depths of like the distribution strategies, but because we're still testing a lot of things out, and that's something that I want to keep you guys updated as I go. But right now we're basically scaling this app while I'm also still trying to like potentially, because I still believe there are companies out there that would like be down to hire someone who could create these virtual influencers, because I believe that's going to be the next step in like social media. You're going to have companies running these different accounts, owning these social media influencers, instead of paying thousands of dollars to create one sponsored post. They'll be managing it and they can basically make them do anything that would fit their brand. So I'm still doing that at the same time too. Now, in terms of Vocal Links, I'm also still making little bits and money here and there, a few $100 here and there, which honestly, it's not a lot. It's just whatever. I honestly use that money to just reinvest into my other projects and their costs. But yeah, that's all I've been really up to recently. So I'm just scaling in those two regards, and I expect to see big successes. Been working a ton recently, and there's a lot of interesting new marketing tips and tricks I learned. So I really hope that I'm gonna like, I know I'm gonna be fine. You know, I know I'm gonna make it, and I know this like is gonna like succeed, all my ventures. So at the end of the day, I just need to spend more time, keep working as I usually do, because that's all I do nowadays. I just sit and I work. I wake up, work, I'll go to the gym, and that's it, and I'm done. So yeah, that's all I've been really doing recently. That's been my life. And yeah, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I wanted to keep it raw and as authentic as possible. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys really enjoyed this, because I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed making it. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.